I am warm. That's a lot of arm movement. Welcome to Seedling Rally Team. I'm Tyler. This is my dad, Eric. We have a 63 Corvair here today. I have a Black Friday rally coming up in a few days here, and we have to put in the steering quickening arms, quick steering arms, is that how you call it? We're going to service the steering box, and we're going to do an alignment on this car and hopefully get it to the point that if the rear end steps out, I can actually catch the drift instead of going like this and going off the edge. This episode is sponsored by Clark's Corvair Parts. These two bolts are coming out. These quick steering arms basically act by trading leverage for speed. So right now we have a lot of leverage with the steering wheel, but the steering does not turn very fast. So for these, you have a little bit more effort in the steering wheel, but this is a shorter arm, so you're gonna turn the wheel faster for every revolution. Here's our old versus new. You can see it's at least an inch longer. We're gonna measure the thickness difference on these, add that to the bolts that came out, and I'm gonna go get some more bolts. I should order them from Clark's, but I wasn't thinking ahead and I didn't read the instructions. That's a theme, isn't it? We're gonna make this happen tonight. It is like 6:30 probably. Ace closes at 8, so I want to make sure that I got this all taken apart, got my bolts out, measured, and purchased before they close. 0.93113. I got my measurements. I'm not going to tell you what they are because you should just order them from Clark's. It's just so much easier. You're going to save time. We're going to go over to Ace. I'm going to get a Milky Way Midnight with my bolts, and we'll come back and be able to throw them in. You can use a pickle fork to pull that tie rod end out. There it goes. Out. Okay. Over here. Got a headache. I took medicine, I drank caffeine, and it's still here. Not fun. I ran out of cotter pins in my normal Dorman kit that I got years ago. Ended up finding that you can get them bulk on McMaster Car. Alright, so the deal is, put your thumb on that washer before you. The deal with these is apparently with some tie rod end situations and some wheels, if you put these on, sometimes you can put them on and the wheels will rub on the steering arms. So Clark's gives you these spacers that you can put in between the backing plate and the steering arms if that is the case. We're going to pop this one on and see if we have any issues. Oh yeah, we got like at least half an inch on the back of there. I can stick my fingers on it and twist it around. We're good. We got one more thing to do to this side before we put it all together. So, oh, geez, that thing's fast. Borrowing an Ingersoll Rand, and my trash pick Craftsman is a little bit slower. My wheel bearing fell out. For a long time after I got this car on the road, I didn't realize that you can adjust the brakes without taking the wheels and drums and wheel bearings out. And that is, there's a little punch out hole thing here that apparently no one punched out, but you can take a little punch and hammer and open that up, and then put a little rubber plug in when you're done, and then you can access your adjuster wheel through that. So let's go do that. There it is. Done and done. So the deal is with the slot mags, I have to make sure I put my wheel on in the right orientation so that the hole is over the adjuster, and I think I should be able to work that with the wheel on. To get the steering box centered up and ready to adjust, we have to make sure that the steering shaft is fully upright and the steering wheel isn't clocked sideways on the shaft. So there's a little tick mark on the end of the steering shaft. Dad just pulled the horn ring off to make sure, and it looks like it is straight.
The steering wheel is horizontal when it's down, so it's in the right spot.
With that figured out, we should be able to take a look at our box itself.
Now I'll go out and pull the plug in the trunk. You'll see a jam nut and a thread with a screwdriver slot. Okay, we're gonna pop this plug off. There's a nut there.
There you go.
And the shaft has a screwdriver slot in it.
That's pretty accessible.
Just loosen the nut a half a turn. And then we crank down the screw. You don't want to go too far because it'll bind up the gearbox, so no more than 2 to 3 turns.
My steering's pretty loose because I can be going on the road, especially on the highway. I'll be holding my wheel a couple inches one way, and then like the wind will change, and then all of a sudden I have to go a couple inches the other way. So there's like this much play in the steering. It's really, really weird when it starts getting windy. So I want to make sure this stuff is a little bit more dialed in, especially with the quick steering arms, because when it flips from one side to the other and I have to adjust for it, maybe it's going to flip way faster. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I have been deemed the wheel wiggler. So I'm going to wiggle the wheel until I decide that it feels like it's got less play. A little bit better. It's kind of hard to tell. Can you put your hand on it and feel if it's turning?
Yeah.
Oh geez, I have like 1.5 inches of play in this thing at least. My dad's saying there's a lot of play in the pitman arms. Let's take a look at that. That just needs to be replaced. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. I think that's a lot of my steering play issue right there. Steering box may be adjusted right, maybe not. It's kind of hard to tell. So I think what I want to do is just fill it up with oil, and we'll send it and see how it goes. Yeah. This thing actually still has grease. I read on Clark's that you can use the Amsoil MTF if you don't have grease in there, but I think we're good. So the steering wheel is straight right now, and we have ridiculous toe in. And then over here that is also ridiculous toe in. Holy crap, that's wild. This thing is super pigeon-toed. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna take this thing down onto the ground, and we're gonna roll it forward onto these here plates. That thing's pretty sweet. You got it? Yeah. Oh. Forward. Oh. All right. The rear wheels obviously are pretty far off on toe, and I want to fix that, but not today. Today I want to deal with the front toe. The front camber is negative quite a bit, 1/2 degree. It's a little bit out of spec, but I'm just going to call that a performance alignment. We're going to go with the toe here, try to get these to turn green. Looking pretty good now. I'm going to try to very gently tighten these things up. Hopefully it'll stay where it is right now, and we don't have to go back and do it again, but usually it screws up a little bit on the way in. We gotta kind of fine tune as we go. I swear to God, these were both 0.31 and 0.30 degrees before I started doing this. I got them all tightened up. They said the right measurement. They were both green, and then I just touched the wheel and they went off into space. So I think that's one of the issues with this visual kind of alignment system with the little dots and stuff and the infrared, because it seems like it gets kind of goofy measurements sometimes, but I'm also a novice, so I'm probably doing it wrong. It's close enough for what I need it for. I thought the pitman arm was maybe had a little play in it. Looks like it's actually the center link on the steering. So let's show you. Essentially, we have the steering box here. The pitman arm comes off that. It's geared to the steering box. So this swings side to side. And then the center link is from here all the way over to the idler arm, which is just like the pitman arm, but it follows instead of leads. So we have 2 connections there that are just kind of twisting, and then we have 2 connections here that are inner tie rod ends, and they have kind of like ball joints in them, ball and socket joints. So I think we have play. We have definite pretty severe play right here. This bushing in here is definitely shot. So yeah, whenever we move anything around, the whole center link is kind of moving with it, and on top of that, these tie rod ends with balls on both sides can actually kind of swing like this a little bit and alter the alignment adjustment, or at least the alignment reading. So basically, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I know that there's kind of imperfect stuff going on in here. This should get me on the road pretty well, and we'll see how it drives. Honestly, I'm kind of excited. We got the quick steering arms on. We got everything put in. We got it kind of aligned. I think it's aligned as well as it's going to be for now. And I think the next step here is to take it to the Black Friday rally, go out, do a little TSD rally with it, and feel it out. Thanks to Clark's Corvair Parts for sponsoring this episode. Well, this hasn't gone well. We're stuck on the side of Highway 62. Car died in stop and go traffic, and it won't idle. So I pulled a plug wire off, put a spare plug into it, and it would get spark. So it's sparking. So I took a little fuel and I dumped fuel down the intake neck, and it will run for a little while, then it'll die. So I think we are not getting fuel pumping out. I'm not sure what to do else. I think the rally might be a bust tonight. Well, this really blows. I went and I cranked down the bolts on the fuel pump about a quarter more turn, and it does the same thing. It'll start up, but then it immediately dies whether I have my foot in it or not. Try to keep it, running at higher RPM, and it'll die anyway. So not fun. This cannot do this. This is not a possible scenario that I'm willing to work with here. So I think we're gonna probably end up with an electric pump until we can get a quality one from Clark's, because this Delphi fuel thing. There is a flatbed tow truck right there. Just stop for us, dude. Anyway, yeah, I think we're gonna have to go to an electric until we can get a quality reproduction mechanical pump, because this is just bullshit. So we're getting a AAA tow, and we're gonna go back home. I can go diagnose why it's not getting fuel, and hopefully be able to warranty 2 pumps for Rock Auto instead of just 1. Well, we're home. May as well hook it up to the battery charger, let it charge up overnight, and we can go and try to diagnose the rest tomorrow.